welcome back to Greenlands, and today from the thumbnail you'll have seen we're going to be getting into harvesting, but I'm having a go with the crop scanner. So this is the game footage that prompted me to make Wednesday's tutorial video. Basically I have 3 fields that are at perfect fertilization from applying with a solid fert spreader. And I thought I'll just see if when I use the crop scanner it lets me put a bit more fertilizer on. And this came from, as I said in that tutorial video, the fact that when I looked in the data file for the mod, it has steps of nitrogen application in units of 5 kilograms of nitrogen per hectare, even though the map only shows it in 20s. So as I know now, as you will know if you watched that tutorial video, applying more perfect fertilization gets you about a 1% bonus on yield. So up to you if you think it's worth the time and cost. I mean, you don't use a lot of liquid fert, and on here we're using between 0 and 30 liters per hectare. What is quite cool, and I don't know if it's, I think it's because I have the see and spray on, maybe, or I don't know, I've not used liquid fertilizer much, but when there's not a crop in the ground, or if it's a bit of ground that I've already been over, it switches off, which is really nice. And you can sort of see on the map subtle flecks in the color. So did that field, did the wheat field and the barley field. We need to give the sheep some more water, and I'm fed up of using the massive lorry trailer, so we've just brought a little Abbey water tanker. This will be perfect for giving the animals water. The sheep in particular. The cows I am giving water as well. I am still not feeding them. They are still grazing in the field because none of them are mature enough for me to bother feeding them. BGAs are now, I think, finished processing everything, but we have lots of electric charge backed up going through the generator, so the money's going to keep going up throughout the episode, basically, particularly when we go to sleep in a moment. Because it's the end of June and we needed to get to July before we can harvest. So I'm just doing a little bit of landscaping around the feed troughs and water troughs, just to kind of replicate the fact that the animals are spending a lot of time there, so there wouldn't be grass growing. Probably wouldn't be grass growing. Yeah. And we've got this bale of grass left over from when I did the silage cut up here, and the one that I didn't wrap. And there is actually another one in the field that we found last time, so I need to go and grab that at some point. But that's those 2 pens filled up, and we'll give the rest to the big sheep pasture. No, yeah, just checking. So we do have some silage processing still, but generally we just have a lot of methane and electricity backed up. So let's sleep through the night, and we now have a lot more cash, and both BGAs have finished processing, but we're up to £193,000, which is kind of nice. And we've got a load of solid fert, so I'm just going to empty that and put it in the silo that we have to store it, and we'll sell it at another point because I want to get into this harvest. So the combine needs some fuel, so we're going to do that first, and then we're going to harvest the 2 oat fields that we have. The oats are going to go into the silo now. So when we add Maize Plus in, I want some oats for making grain mix, and the rest will probably just sell when the price is good. So that's the plan. We need to get the header up to the field. I need to find a tractor for that. The Fendt will do nicely for that job, because the tractor I was looking for, as I was saying before, my dog so rudely interrupted me. The Fendt will do perfectly for picking the header up. We're going to give it a repair too, and the Fendt was expensive. Oh well, it's probably better to keep the tractors in reasonably good state of repair. And we'll have a bit of a comedy moment now as I determined to back this damn thing out of here. There we go. Awesome. We're going to have to run up and turn around in our neighbour's grass field. They don't mind, they're very friendly neighbours. Actually quite a tempting field to buy with where it sits amongst the rest of our fields, but for now we have to look at harvesting the 2 oat fields. So originally planned to start with the bigger field, which I think is field 44. The Massey that I was looking for was up there at the mega field with the bale wrapper, because there is one unwrapped bale up there and I am going to get that guy. But let's bung the header on. and we'll get to work. Interestingly, the corn is also at a state that it can be forage harvest, so pretty soon we are going to be getting into doing the mega field and getting that chopped. I'm starting to look at options for either big bunker silos or silage fermenters. If you have a favorite big bunker silo or silage fermenter, stick a comment below. I've got about 3 fermenters that I've added that I want to have a look at. We have the Omatana ones that we have at the main farm. I want something quicker and bigger, probably. Not sure how much we're going to get off of this field. I think it's going to be a lot. Just a quick shout out to the patrons and the YouTube channel members. Thank you all for your support. Yeah, as I was saying, there's a big bunker that I've got installed that I'm looking at, but it's 360 grand. I think it will hold whatever we get off the field. It looks like it will hold about 6 million litres. The alternative is, I think there's the farm productions pack. I think that's what Mr. CDP is using. I need to look at how much that holds and how fast it ferments. Nice thing is, if I use a really big clamp, I can ferment it all in a month and it'll be done, and then we just have to sell it. But we're going to be limited by the generators anyway, so maybe it doesn't matter if it's going to take a while to ferment and process through some fermenting silos, because we can just set those on distributing and it will slowly send it to the BGA and sell it. But if we put it on distributing, it's probably going to distribute it to both BGAs, and I don't really want that because I want it all to go through the big BGA. I don't know. Anyway, combine is pretty much full off the first headland. My plan is to try and use auto drive to run the carter, and B, cut headlands, harvest headlands, and then get the baler in and bale the headlands and clear them, so that we've got a nice area to work in basically, and we're not driving over the straw swath. It's not something I would normally do or worry about, but I thought I would on this occasion. I thought it would be quite cool. So we've got the T7. These fields are pretty hilly. It's one of the features of Greenlands that there are some pretty severe elevation changes, and one, I don't want to end up in that river, and we actually have to put the diff locks on to even back the baler up. That's how steep the hills are here. I think that's the hill that we put the sugar beet harvester in the river on. So yeah, the other problem is getting back up the hills is incredibly slow. So you will notice later on that we swap to the Xerion as our baling tractor, which is pretty stupid. Maybe it's kind of nuts, but it means I can go up hills at a sensible speed. And we have a big tractor, we might as well use it, is my view. So yeah. But I thought this was a good idea, get the headlands completely clear. You might spot in the corner there that the carting tractor is on auto drive and it's stuck, because for some reason auto drive wants to loop round the loop that goes into the field next door to get back to the yard, and it can't do that because the header trailer is there. So that's a bit annoying. So what we're going to do is, in a slight change of plan, I'm going to bale this headland, collect the bales off of it just to get that job done, and we're then going to go into field 43 and get that harvested first, so that we can have auto drive doing what it wants to do without driving through the crop. I'm not sure why it was trying to go that way. It's kind of annoying. It shouldn't. The loops are set up so that it should be okay, but it doesn't want to behave. So we'll get the bales cleared and then we will harvest the slightly smaller field 43 first. Get that done. We've got a slightly smaller bale there, so we're going to need to probably bring over the front loader or the telehandler to pick that up. Not a problem. It'll be nice to be able to give the cows some straw. It's been a couple of months since they've had straw bedding because we ran out, so this should give us a good supply of straw. And in a similar issue with running the baler, I found that the Axion really struggled with carting. Going up the hills, in particular. So we've got the 8RX karting on a fairly small trailer. I think it's only a 20,000 litre trailer, which I know in the US, probably in the UK, on big farms they use quad tracks and stuff like that to kart with auger wagons. This is a pretty small trailer, but it's just because of the hills. And boy, am I glad Autodrive works as a worker and doesn't destroy crop, because it does alright actually. I'm just grabbing a screenshot. Might have been the thumbnail actually. It does okay, but it was a little bit frustrating that it kept driving through the crop, and it took a really long time to get to the combine. I got better at that right towards the end in the last field. Here we are with the Xerion running the baler on duals, because the duals are still on there from compacting the silage pit, and I couldn't be bothered to take them off. So, and the 8RX has got stuck on the karting course. So I set this little auto drive diversion into the silo up with the Arion, and it obviously behaved a little bit better than the mega wide tracks on the 8RX. So just going to let that do its thing while we bale up these headlands. That'll get both headlands cleared, and then we can get into harvesting the body of both fields. Should have brought a class baler, shouldn't I? Then again, I didn't expect... You didn't see that, okay? You didn't see that. I didn't use super strength. No. Yeah. I didn't expect to be using the Xerion as a bale tractor. If I'm honest, it was not my intention when I purchased it. It was going to be my big fieldwork tractor. But I guess balers need a reasonable amount of horsepower, and big hills need lots of horsepower. And it's why I brought the Deutz and the T7 to do things like mowing and stuff, because I just needed a lot more power than I think you would in farm sim normally. In the real world, you probably need more power anyway to run most things, but don't know if you'd see one of these on duals running a baler. As I just couldn't be bothered to take the duals off from when we were using it to compact silage, so it may be doing that job again very soon over on the mega field. Right, let's get these bales picked up very quickly, and then this is going to make a nice addition to how much straw we have on the farm. And we can go through here to deliver it, which is quite nice. And I need to move the little Massey before it gets thrown across the silo. Because we've got all three bays filling up now, which is the first time actually, because before we didn't put silage bales in there. Right, let's get GPS set and get the body of the fields harvested. So we have done the first field and we are on the second one, and I'm trying to call the carter over. I've had to cut an extra headland because we're a bit short of space, and I thought it would make it easier for auto drive to come and find me if I kept going in a straight line rather than turning around. It didn't really help it much. I do need to do an update to auto drive. There is a new version out and I haven't picked it up yet, so yeah, there is that. I am a bit lax sometimes in updating things like auto. In fact, I'm a bit lax in updating all my mods, if I'm honest, because I run, I think at the moment probably about 8 mods folders, because I have different mods folders for different things. I'm really bad at checking when I open the game up whether mods need updating or not, until I spot that a mod I'm really interested in needs updating, and then I'll update them all. And then Courseplay and Auto Drive, they're separate obviously, because you get those off GitHub. Yeah, I need to update Auto Drive. I don't use it that much. Probably the most harvesting season is when I use it the most. This is looking at which I'm looking at buying more land. And yeah, just pondering what the options are there, whether I go more of the wilderness, wild space, or fields. Still pondering that. But yeah, the auto drive I use mostly when I'm harvesting, and so I am going to be using it on Mega Field, which is probably a couple of videos away. We still have all the baling to do on here when we finish, and then maybe we'll get into the Mega Field. Or maybe we'll do the cornfields on the farm first and get that in the pit first. I'll see how the BGAs and the generators are doing as to which order I do it in, because if the generators are still processing, I might as well do the corn on the farm first, because that's going to be kept for feeding. Whereas the corn down on the mega field is all going into the big BGA. And you might have just caught a glimpse of, yep, there it is, the 8RX has just come back into the field. And we're getting pretty full, so hopefully the carter is going to respond and come and empty us. So yeah, I have quite mixed results with auto drive, I find. I think probably because I don't use it as much as I maybe could. I'm not going to say should, because I like a level of automation but not loads. I'm slowing the combine down to see if it will catch up before I fill up, and it didn't really. And then there we go, come on, there we go. So I definitely had a moment on here at one point where I just got completely confused between switching the header on, dropping the header, switching the header on, lifting the header up, and not harvesting crops. Now, this gives you a pretty good idea of how steep the course is, the hill is though. Yeah, it is a very hilly map. I kind of like it. It's nice having a bit of terrain going on. It is also meltingly hot here today still. But this is Saturday's video and it is Wednesday. I'm not quite as ahead as I was because this week's really busy at work, and I probably won't even get this edited into the video until Friday. So yeah, it's a very busy week this week, but only a week to go and then I've got a week off, which is gonna be awesome. Can't wait. Harvesting done. Let's grab the 8RX and I can take over now, and we'll get this in the silo and see how much we got. This is the first harvesting of crops that we've planted on here except grass, so it's kind of cool. That's the combine empty. Right, let's go. I've got the door open and the window open, which is really unusual when I'm recording, but trying to get some fresh air flowing through. And say thanks for watching, folks. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, leave me a comment, subscribe if you aren't, all that stuff. And we got, let's have a look, 102,000 litres of oats. Pretty happy with that. Bye.